Hello, this is Julian with Coffee Reviews, and today we'll be doing another blind taste test rankings video. Now, the way that these work, for anybody that has not seen one of our previous blind taste test rankings videos, is we have 4 cups of coffee over here, and we have 4 bags of coffee over here, and we're trying to identify which of these cups is which of these bags based off of taste alone. Of course, we're going to be ranking them in order of our least favorite to our most favorite, and there's a theme behind each and every one of these videos, and the theme behind this video is it's another viewer subscriber recommendation suggestion video, as all 4 of these are either coffees or coffee roasters that have been suggested to us. While we're on that topic, I wanted to update that list real quick, as there have been some changes given that we've purchased quite a few coffees from the list. And Archer's, suggested to us by Dan, is still number 1. It's been number 1 for a while, and again, we can't get our hands on it in the United States, so that one's going to have to wait until we get an opportunity to order it here somehow. But on that same note, Bailey's, Darkwoods, and White Star are all coffee roasters that don't ship to the United States, so those are also 3 more coffee roasters that we'll have to wait until we get an opportunity to somehow get them here. But the Barn, we have ordered that one, so that one hopefully should be coming soon, and that one we will be reviewing sometime soon. UE, they had a 10 to 60 day shipping window, so we didn't think it would arrive in time for a blind taste test rankings video, so as a result, we're going to order that one when we get an opportunity to. And then we have Square Mile. So these were all suggestions from Tim Tam Jimmy, so just wanted to give an update on those, as those are the next ones. After that, we have Duck Rabbit, One Line, and then there's a huge list that follows after that. But hopefully we'll be able to get to those when we get an opportunity to. Let's go ahead and start introducing these coffees, and I wanted to start with a disclaimer, as 3 of these are higher end coffees, and they all have different roast dates, so whoever's coffee finishes last, apologies, but of course that might be subject to change, as sometimes these coffees get significantly better over time, sometimes they decrease, and just because they finished last today doesn't mean that they'll be our least favorite by the end. With that being said, let's start introducing all of them, starting with the El Injerto, wash processed Guatemala Pacamara from Equator Coffee. And this is the only coffee roaster we have any familiarity with. This is the only coffee roaster we've ever tried before, and this one was suggested to us by Jack, as he said it was one of his favorite coffees of the entire year. And Equator has not been our favorite in the past, but we do like Guatemalan coffees quite a bit, so it'll be interesting to see how this one does in this video. But yeah, that's the first coffee we have. After that, we have this Rafael Amaya. They listed it as an extended fermentation wash processed Colombia from Red Bank. And this one was a suggestion to us by Tim Tam Jimmy. It was one of the few British coffee roasters we were able to get our hands on, so don't know too much about the coffee roaster, don't know too much about the coffee. We'll see how this one does. We've tried to keep the information we have for all of these coffees as limited as possible. That way everything's on a fair basis. All right, next we have this Karatu Peaberry wash processed Kenya from Bolt. And this one is probably the biggest underdog in this video, as people know that we're not the biggest fans of Kenyans. But this one was the lightest roasted coffee they had listed on their website, and it was one that sounded the most interesting, and we do like reviewing Kenyans quite a bit, even if we aren't the biggest fans of Kenyan coffees. So it'll be interesting to see how this one does. This one was a suggestion to us by Greg from Zach and Greg Like Coffee. So thanks to Greg for this suggestion. I'm curious to see how that one does as well. And this one right here is probably the favorite in this video, as this is a Edwin Nerenya. They listed as a golden washed anaerobic processed Colombia from Vice and Virtue. And they're based out of Memphis, Tennessee. And this was a suggestion to us by Phosphorus, this coffee roaster, not necessarily as coffee, but when we went on their websites, they were advertising this coffee pretty heavily. This is the same coffee we had from Vibrant earlier this year, which tasted very hoppy, very much like beer. This has been a very interesting coffee this year. It's been just as, if not more wild than the Diego Bermudez coffees, so this one right here is probably the favorite just because it's probably going to be the most unique and out there. Don't really know what to expect from this coffee or this coffee roaster, but yeah, that's our 4th coffee. And let's start getting to shuffling these around, as I'm not gonna lie, I'm dying for a cup of coffee right now. And of course, this is my first time trying them. They've all been brewed the same way, and they are all, we were able to get some plain cups this time, so that way you can see no markings on them anywhere, except for on the bottom. All brewed with the same recipe, so again, that could change things by the end. One of these coffees, by brewing it through their method or their recipe, might increase it, decrease it, make it better, make it worse, but as of right now, yeah, we're just gonna shuffle them, and a couple more shuffles. And we will start with this cup right here. All right, cup number 1. This is, I think I can already make a guess on this one right here. It's kind of interesting, very interesting. It's a very interesting cup of coffee. I think it's the Edwin Noreña because it does have a little bit of that hoppy component to it. Like, it's very slight. It's a little bit more lemon than it is kind of hops, but it does taste very similar to the other Edwin Nerenya I had earlier this year from Vibrant. There's a lot in this cup of coffee. It's got so much depth to it, but those are the most standout things. Some pretty heavy lemon, and there's quite a bit of hops to it. Interesting. I'm gonna be willing to already take a guess and say that this is the Edwin Nerenya, and of course it's first place right now because it's the only coffee we've tried. All right, next cup. I imagine this one right here is probably the Kenya, but it's not overly Kenyan. It just has a little bit of savoriness to it. It doesn't have too much of a very strong tomato, but I imagine based off of what I know from the other coffees on this table to this just right here is probably going to be the Kenya. Slight bit of savoriness. That's probably the most notable thing here. Kind of coming off as a little sugary. It's quite nice. A little tropical, a little sugary. If this is, in fact, the Bolt, I think they have listed on here a pink starburst flavor note. I could definitely see that. I'm gonna guess that it's the... You know, this is actually better than I thought, this Bolt right here. If it is the Bolt. All right, next cup. Okay, now here's where I'm getting a little confused. Is this one right here? This one's... It's very, very rose water. Oh, this is actually quite... I think I can automatically take a guess on this one as well, but... Truth be told, given how much familiarity I believe I have with this specific roaster, I believe that this is the Equator. This is nicer than most of what they've done in the past. I'm actually quite enjoying this one. I'm pretty sure that this right here is the Equator. And, ooh, I'm having a difficult time placing this one right here. I'm gonna put it in second for right now. But it's kind of pushing that Edwin Nerenya, and I think I'm going to go back and try it one more time. That's what I think it is. So obviously these are all assumptions, but I'm pretty confident in my assumptions as of right now. And I'm going to put that coffee in second place for right now. And then the final cup. I'm like 99% sure it's the Equator, because it's still, while it has a very nice kind of rosewater components to it, it does have an ever bit of a kind of developed, slightly smoky taste at the end, which is kind of, I think Equator is probably the most developed coffee roaster on this table. Wow, we have 4 really interesting coffees right here, because this coffee is really, really interesting too. You know what this coffee tastes like? Is it kind of tastes like the Luna coffee that we had just reviewed. The I'm spacing on the name right now, but it was the Ethiopia, their anaerobic Ethiopia. It's really tart. It's pretty tart. This is a very interesting cup of coffee. I'm not entirely sure where I want to place this one either. It also kind of tastes a little bit like the coffee we had from Blind Tiger, the anaerobic washed. So I'm definitely assuming that this right here is the Rafael Amaya. I'm like 99% confident that I got all of these right, but I'm just kind of struggling on where I'm going to place them because I'm really honest in these videos and they're all pretty close to each other actually. I actually like all 4 coffees. I think this is where I'm going to place them for right now. I'm not happy with the placement because there's very little to distinguish between which one I necessarily like more. I think this one was maybe the most surprising standout in terms of enjoyment. This one's really good. They're all actually really good. This one's just kind of interesting. Okay. We're gonna stop rambling. We're gonna see how we did. I'm 99% sure I got these right though, and I'm just kind of really struggling with the rankings for this really bad. I've never struggled with how I want to rank these coffees before, as there's very little to differentiate between them. This one right here I said was the Red Bank, so it should say RB at the bottom. And it does. All right, and this one right here I said was the Bold, so it should just say B. And it is. All right, and this one right here I said was the El Injerto Pacamara, Guatemala from Equator, so it should say EQ. And it does. And as a result, then of course we got this one right, which is the Vice and Virtue Edwin Nerenya. VV, Vice and Virtue. Okay, so 4 for 4, but I'm not necessarily overly happy with the rankings in this because I'm still kind of waffling back and forth between which one I necessarily liked the best. I guess this video is continuing just because I'm still kind of confused. They are all so different. This one is just very kind of lemon hops. This one right here is just very rose water. This one right here is this really pretty, just like tropical fruit, passion fruit. Just it's really, really nice. And this one right here still, it just tastes like a mixture of some interesting coffees. Wow, okay, well, I'm gonna leave it at this. Thank you everybody for these suggestions, as I'm actually really surprised with how this video turned out. These are all unique, interesting out there coffees, and I'm very much looking forward to discussing all 4 of them, as they all did exceptionally well. I wanna say that almost all 4 of these coffees were better than maybe everything but the Makina from our last suggestion recommendation video, as these are all quite decent. So. But yeah, this video has probably gone on far too long. Just kind of reflect on how we did in this video. Obviously got 4 for 4, very easy, very straightforward in picking out these coffees, but a little more difficult with the rankings. Just going to leave this video at that. If you enjoy these videos, if you enjoy these blind taste test videos, please give this video a like, as by far, again, they're by far the most difficult videos to make. They take the most time, but as you can see, they're so much fun. We really enjoy doing these videos. If you're enjoying the content as well, give this video a like and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. But this right here has been a blind taste test rankings video featuring 4 viewer, subscriber, suggestion, recommendation coffees. Thank you for watching.